on deep Vancouver end. Taken by Denny Poppin on the left board. He looks to throw across. He does to Hart. Hart has a shot. Score!
New York Islander hockey game is being brought to you by Eastern Airlines. The people of Eastern have the right time and the right place for you. By Polio Ricotta and Polio Mozzarella and the great Italian family of Polio food products. By Astoria Federal Savings, where your money gets top interest action. By Emery, the Air Force of air freight. By Budweiser, the king of beers. And by the Chevrolet dealers of Nassau and Suffolk County.
Game number 2, Nassau Coliseum, Uniondale, New York. It's the New York Islanders and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the action of Stanley Cup hockey. The Islanders and the Toronto Maple Leafs played a wild game, and wild in many aspects, the other night when the Islanders defeated Toronto 4-1 to begin this quarterfinal round. And there were so many surprises. It's kind of difficult to know where to begin. For example, the biggest surprise of all, the Islanders taking a 53-goal scorer off the #1 line in hockey this year. Obviously, Mike Bossy off the Clark Gillies, Brian Chottier line. Putting him on a line with Mike Kazicki and Bobby Bourne, and placing Bobby Nystrom in Bossy's place at right wing. Why in heaven's name would you remove a 53-goal scorer? Why in heaven's name would you put Bossy, supposedly a non-checker, on with Kazicki, supposedly a non-checker, and a small kid, with Bobby Bourne, kind of a tall, lean kid, where they would be ill-equipped to face the muscle of the Maple Leafs, who came out to play a muscle-beat game. Now, that Al Arbor, he consulted his Ouija board and the 7 lessons of Madame Lazanga or whatever, and Kazicki scored, Bossy scored, Nystrom scored, and the Islanders won 4-1. And Toronto came out trying to apply the muscle. It didn't work. You can't intimidate the Islanders. Tonight, Toronto has said Bob Lawrence that they plan on throwing more muscle at the Islanders. Chico Resch had a big game for the Islanders in goal, and we thought Mike Palmateer had a shaky game for the Maple Leafs. Now the question is, well, what will happen tonight?
Well, I think it's going to be just as you say. I think everybody in this building, certainly on the two teams, are aware of the fact they're going to come out roaring. It's going to be a fast-starting type hockey game, just as it was the other night on Monday night when the Maple Leafs really started running at the Islanders. As you say, it didn't pay off. Maybe in some ways early on they woke the sleeping giant. As other teams have found, you cannot do that to the Islanders. The Islanders anticipate that kind of a start to the game and are prepared for it also.
This is WMCA, Strauss Communications in New York. Hello, this is Warren Dean, and I hope...
As you can tell from the noise of the crowd, the Islanders are making their reappearance. I don't know, Bobby, there's something about playoff games. What a thrill you get even before they begin. The crowd is alive and vital and ready, and you know the players are. Speaking of the players, why don't you give us the scratches and the starters and also the officials for tonight's game.
Okay, in the goal to our right as the Toronto Maple Leafs now make their appearance on the ice. Defending the goal to our right will be Mike Palmateer, the starter and loser in Monday night's game here at the Coliseum. Palmateer will be in the goal to our right as the Maple Leafs skate right to left. Defensively, they'll start Ian Turnbull and the ubiquitous Borje Salmi. The line will be centered by Darryl Sittler. Dan Maloney and Lanny McDonald will be on the wings. The Islanders, defending the goal to our left, will have Chico Resch in goal again tonight. And somewhat pleased, certainly, with his play in Monday night's game, as he felt he did not give up a cheap goal. And he did play a strong game, certainly, in Monday night's game. And should have another one here tonight. The Islanders will start defensively. Dennis Potvin and Dave Lewis. And again, the line of Brian Trache centering for Clark Gillies on the left and Bobby Nystrom on the right. The scratches for Toronto is Randy Carlisle, who may get into the action by Friday night's game in Toronto. The Islanders again have scratched Michel Bergeron and, of course, Eddie Westphal, who is still a little bit sore on his left knee, and we will have a report on that knee as Westphal will be joining us between periods by way of the tape recorder.
Bob, this means that with Carlisle sitting out, and also their rookie center iceman Bruce Boudreau also sitting out, he is now listed in the scratches. But the Maple Leafs will be skating 4 lines. They have 12 forwards suited up and 5 defensemen. The Islanders will go with 11 forwards with both Westphal and Bergeron scratched, and with all 6 of their defensemen. And even that was kind of a switch the other night. Al Arbor really went to 4 defense.
This game, Andy Van Helleman is the referee. The linesmen are Matt Pavlich and Gerard Gauthier. Next will be the national anthems. First, O Canada, and then the Star Spangled Banner.
Momentarily, the heat is on, especially on the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is almost a must-win game for them. They do not want to go back onto their home ice. Trailing 2 games to nothing, it is somewhat of a precarious position, but nevertheless, the Maple Leafs with Mike Palmateer in goal to our right. Defensively, Ian Turnbull and Boyer Salming will start, and the Canadians starting their top line of Captain Darryl Sittler centering for Maloney and McDonald. The Islanders with Chico Resch in goal to our left. Dennis Potvin and Dave Lewis on the back line with Clark Gillies on the left wing, centered by Brian Trache, and on the right wing, Bobby Nystrom.
Mike Kazicki on a 3-on-2. Set Bourne perfectly, and Bourne closed, took his time, and fired it off the glove side of Palmateer. Palmateer got a piece of it, but not all of it, and it went to the net. And the Islanders on Bobby Bourne's goal lead it 2-1.
That will be Bourne's first playoff goal of this season. Kazicki and Marshall will get the assist. Time of the goal at 3:24. And Mike Palmateer had that puck in his glove hand, and it popped out and went over his right forearm into the back of the net, and the Islanders lead it 2-1.
All right, face-off taken by Brian Glennie of Toronto, and he dumps it in. 16:30 remaining in regulation time. The Islanders have a 2-1 lead. Here it centers it on the side of the net. The rebound. Brian to Bossy. The shot. Save Palmatier. He made a great save. He robbed Mike Bossy of a goal.
Rebound, O'Reilly.
So, who would you say the most pressure? Ask me. How do you pronounce his name? Johansson or Johansson? And I said I call him Trevor.
I don't know. I really don't. I think the pressure is very equal. I guess the more pressure is on the Islanders, Bob, because Toronto knows they're going back to their building for the next 2 games, and they certainly want to win. But if the Islanders lose, they have lost the home ice advantage.
Absolutely.
Because the series is 1-1, and 3 of the next 5 games will be in Toronto. Well, you know, all this conjecture. Who knows if there'll be a breezy 13-second goal, or if we'll go 2-3 overtimes tonight. How do you know?
Could very well happen. There's, as we mentioned, some very tired hockey players on the ice, even though they just had a 15-minute rest.
The overtime period has begun.
We're in sudden death overtime. 3 minutes into the overtime. Tied at 2 apiece. Face-off in Toronto zone.
All right, Brian Trottier will take this draw with Darryl Sittler as the 90-pounder drops the puck. Brian forwards it toward net. It's clear by Palmatier. Picked up by Brian. He centers it. The puck away. Picked up by Dennis. The shot is save. Rebound. Save. Rebound. Save. Rebound. Goal. Goal. Mike Bossy scored an Islander goal. And the Islanders have won in overtime. 3-2. Mike Bossy jabbed at it. Jabbed at it. Jabbed at it. Jabbed at it. And Mike Bossy has scored an overtime goal. Potvin took the shot. Dennis Potvin took the shot. It was blocked by Palmatier, but he couldn't hold on to the rebound. Brian Trottier got a poke at it. Palmatier saved it. But Mike Bossy jabbed and jabbed and jabbed. And knocked it in. Dennis Potvin and Brian Trottier draw the assist on the overtime goal at 2:50. That's 2 minutes and 5-0. 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the first overtime. And the Islanders have taken a 2-0 advantage in games against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Your basic wow.
What can I tell you?
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Dennis Potvin had made the play. He carried the puck in the slot, and he fired on goal. Palmatier had made the save. Brian got a shot. Palmatier made the save, and the puck couldn't have been cleared. And Bossy jabbed, and finally knocked it in. And the Islanders have won in overtime. Well, we're going to return and replay all 5 goals for you. When we return in just 60 seconds from right now.
And tied it up on a power play goal. This time it was Clark Gillies who scored it on a great pass from Stephen Pearson. Give and go, as you will hear on the replay.
Right. Now Brian sends a lead for Gillies. Gillies comes across. Gillies now holds the puck left side. Left boards back on the right point to Stephen Pearson. Pearson the pass, the tip. Goal! Islander goal! Islander goal! Stephen Pearson on the pass and Clark Gillies on the tip. The Islanders on the power play have tied this game at 1.
Gillies started the play, in essence, by firing it from the far boards out to the top of the slot. Pearson just really banked it in off of Gillies' stick by firing it just wide of the net, and Gillies just deflecting it past Palmatier. At 16:28 of the first period, it was tied at 1 apiece. Pearson and Trottier got the assists. The Islanders and the Maple Leafs were scoreless in that second period. In the third period, the Islanders got the lead on a goal by Bobby Bourne, set up by a great pass from Mike Kazicki, and here's the replay.
Cass, a nice lead for Pat Price. Price to the Toronto line, swept off his stick by Turnbull, back out to center, picked up by Burt Marshall. He plays to Kazicki. Cass across. Here's a lead for Bourne. Bourne the shot. Goal! Islander goal! Islander goal!
Bobby Stanley Bourne got the goal, his first of the playoffs, from Kazicki and Marshall. Marshall sending the puck ahead on the near boards. Kazicki carried it in, backhanded it to Bourne at the top of the slot, and Bourne hit Palmatier in the glove, and it trickled over his glove and in the back of the net. The Islanders led it 2-1 at 3:24 of the third period. Then George Ferguson tied it up and sent it into what turned out to be the sudden death overtime on a goal at the 9:41 mark on a blistering low shot from a very tight angle, as you will hear on the replay.
Now, this draw won by the Leafs. Now, Ian Turnbull looks to skate it out. He does, and throws a right wing pass to Ferguson. Ferguson comes across with a wrist shot. Goal! George Ferguson with a bullet from the right side ties this game at 2. A beautiful shot by Ferguson from the deep right side on a very tough angle, and he fired a bullet past Resch. George Ferguson has tied this game at 2.
Turnbull and Johansson got the assists at 9:41. Then we went to the overtime and set up this dramatic overtime goal that was scored by Mike Bouncy. Trache poking at it, so was Mike, but finally Mike got it by sprawled Palmatier. Listen.
Bryan forwards it toward net. It's cleared by Palmatier, picked up by Bryan. He centers it. Deflected away, picked up by Dennis. The shot is safe. Rebound, safe. Rebound, safe. Rebound. Goal! Islander goal! Islander goal! Mike Bouncy scored an Islander goal, and the Islanders have won in overtime, 3-2. Mike Bouncy jabbed at it, jabbed at it, jabbed at it, jabbed at it, and Mike Bouncy has scored an overtime goal.
I had a feeling from up here that Bryan was jabbing with his stick at Palmatier's glove to keep him from covering up the puck or trying to knock it loose so Bouncy could finally get a stick on it and knock it home. And in any event, Bouncy scores the game-winning goal in overtime at 2:50 of the overtime period. Denny Fontaine and Bryan on the assists.
Yeah, it's too bad the crowd didn't make any noise. Well, we have yet to run down the scoreboard, which we will do, the Stanley Cup scoreboard, and also to award our Polio Most Valuable Player award of the game, and we will do that when we return right after this message.
It does not have an image.